So good morning and good evening to everyone. We are in process of discussing configuration of sales document type and also configuration of the item category, and also we are going to start. We already completed configuration of the sales document type and the configuration of the item category in the previous classes. So when I say the configuration, we have discussed about the configuration control settings, the configuration control settings of sales document type, and the configuration control settings of item category. And also we discussed about how the item category is determined in the sales order, how the item category determined during the sales order. That means what factors, what parameters, what elements. So what elements or what parameters or what factors are taken into consideration by the system to determine item category during the sales order processing. So that's what we already discussed in our previous sessions. So in today's session, I am going to explain you one more item, that is a schedule line category configuration and control settings, and also how the schedule line category determines in the sales order. So like item category, the schedule line category also available in the sales order. Like item category. So the way how item category is available, or the way how item category is determined in the sales order. So in the same way, like we have one more item, we have one more element called schedule line category, which is also determined in sales order, but the determination logic for schedule line is different. The determination logic for the schedule line category is different, and also the schedule line category has its own control parameters. Okay, the schedule line category has its own control parameters. So what does it mean? So based on the schedule line, which is determined in the sales order, the system behavior will change. That means, so you already understood that based on the item category availability in the sales order, item category helps the system how to behave. You already understood, right? So you understood that based on the item category, give the guidance. Item category gives the guidance to the system. So whether it has to bill for that item or not, whether it has to bill the item in the sales order or not, whether it has to price the item in the sales order or not. Okay, whether it is a text item or what kind of item it is. Like this, item category is controlling some parameters. Right? In the similar way, the schedule line category also controls some other parameters in the sales order or during the sales order processing. So that is what we are going to discuss now. Okay, let me open the system. We got our ECC access for all of us. Actually, it is very small item. The schedule line category is not having many parameters. It has very less parameters, or it has very less control settings. Okay, and even out of those settings, you at this moment you will not you do not need to know all, because your like the base knowledge, whatever you have in SAP SD is not full enough to understand the complete functionality of the schedule line. You will be understanding later point of time. Okay, but still, you know, I'm trying my level best to make you understand whatever the functionalities or whatever the control settings available there. So what happens in SAP, it is like this. So when we start discussing anything, like there are few things which will make you understand after some time. That means you need some additional exposure to the SAP to understand, you know, the functionalities available or the configurations available in document type configuration or item category configuration, or you know, the schedule and configuration. That's why what you need to know, you need to know the base functionality of each and every item, like what is the importance of item category in the sales order, what is the importance of sales document type in the sales order, what is the importance of schedule and category, what it controls, how it is guiding the system, that, you know, we need to understand. Okay, 1 minute, I need to change the system details. So create a new system. Next, SAP. So Umaira, you know that, right? How to create a new system? Let me share the screen.
Yeah, yes, Venkat.
Okay.
Venkat, could you share the screen? I'm not able to see the screen.
I'm sharing.
Okay.
Okay. So this is the logon pad. This is the SAP logon pad, which is a prerequisite, you know, to start adding the systems. It is ECC or like GTS or S4HANA. So whatever the system you wanted to use, in order to use that, so you need to install this logon pad. SAP Logger. This is called SAP Graphical User Interface, SAP GUI or SAP GUI. Graphical User Interface or SAP GUI or SAP GUI, or we can also call SAP Logon Pad, because it is the pad which is being used to log on to the system. Okay. First of all, you need to install it. So when you install it, you don't see anything. All are blank. There is nothing. When you install first time, it is blank. And once it is available, then you can start adding whatever the system you wanted. Then you can start adding whatever the system you want. Okay. So now previously I have already added ECC and GTS. So this ECC system is not exclusive ECC system. This ECC system was uh, created by the server provider. This ECC system was created by the server provider in order to integrate the GTS system. So that is why when I tried to create some transactions in this ECC system, you might have seen that it is getting screened in the GTS system and giving back when I save the transaction. Okay, but this time what I did, I got our exclusive ECC system, which is not having any dependency with any other system. That I just got the details. The server provider provided, you know, the details for system IP. What is the IP address of the system? What is the system number? And what is the system ID? So first of all, we need to configure. So using these three parameters, we need to configure that system. So, but when you install this logon pad, so it could be blank. You don't see ECC, you don't see GTS. It could be blank. Then what you do? You go to the create. You need to create a new system, right? You need to add the system. You need to add our ECC system. Create. Okay. And then here you don't need to search anything. Just next. Click on the next. And here you are going to create. You are going to add ECC, right? Then SAP, ECC. And then what is your IP address? Your IP address is Okay. So enter the application server and then system number. Instance number means system number or instance number. Okay. System ID here. The system ID EHP. EHP. Okay. And then simple. Next. Next. Finish. So now the ECC system is available. Now the ECC system is available. Okay. I can say SAP ERP ECC system. SAP ERP. Okay. Now people are calling, ERP. Nobody is calling SAP ECC like SAP ERP. Okay. I'm changing the description. Okay. Now, in order to log into the system, I need to double click on it. And then take the user ID 41 user 174 and the password access @4. So when I enter the user and password, now it is taking me to the system. Now I am in SAP ECC. Now I can do what I can do. I can do the configurations. I can do the master data. I can create the transactions. Whatever I need for my business. So if I am a SAP consultant, I can go to the SPRO and I can do all the based on customer requirements, based on the customer. For example, from the item category perspective, for one of the item category, the business user is saying that, so whenever this item category or whenever this item, if the business user says that, so for my item, I don't want to price. If the business user, as part of the requirements gathering, or as part of the a new requirement, your business user or the business process owner came to you and he is saying that your business process user came to you and saying that, okay, for this item I don't want to price anymore. Then what you need to do? In the corresponding item category, what you need to do? You have to specify the item category pricing relevant for 100% discount. Pricing 100% discount, right? That is what you need to do. If the business user came to you and saying that for one of the product or one of the item, I don't want to bill anymore. Then what you need to do? If the business user, business process owner says that I don't want to bill this item in the sales order. I don't need to bill the item for this item. Then what you need to do? Where you can tell system, if the billing is not relevant for the item, where you can specify, where you have to specify, under which configuration you have to specify, Umaira?
In item category configuration?
Yes, in the item category configuration, we can specify whether a particular item is relevant for the billing or not, whether a particular item is relevant for the delivery or not, whether this relevant for what I can say like pricing or not. These things will specify, right? If you specify there, system will understand. Who will guide the system? If you configure something, then the system will take the guidance from the configuration. If you specify those things in the item category, then when item category is determined in the sales order, then the system will understand. If you define in the item category, and if that item category comes to the sales order, then the system will understand, oh, this item category, based on the control settings of this item category, I should not bill for this item, right? That is how it works, Vivek.
Yes, Venkat.
Okay.
Yes, Venkat.
So in the similar way, like we need to whatever the requirement it is. For example, it is like this. For example, you tell me for inquiries. So if you are creating an inquiry, you know that, right? Inquiry, quotation, order, right? We have different documents. If you are creating inquiry, And inquiry is inquiry relevant for delivery or not?
No.
No, right? Inquiry is
No.
just information. Inquiry is a just information. So we don't need to do delivery. That means it is not relevant for the delivery. Inquiry is a document. Inquiry is a document which is, for example, the inquiry is VA13, right? Okay. So if I open any inquiry, okay. So this is the inquiry document. So I created inquiry. So if I created inquiry, you know that inquiry is not relevant for the delivery. I know that inquiry is not relevant for the delivery. But one of the user in business, he does not know inquiry is not relevant for the delivery, and he tries to deliver it. Then what happens? There will be a mistake, right? There will be a big impact, right? If the business user tried to do the delivery for inquiry, okay, or if the business user tried to do delivery for the even quotation also, we don't need the delivery, right? Quotation is just the agreement in the sense like in other words, like quotation says that what price or how much quantity and what could be the quantity, what could be the price for that quantity. So that information you are storing in the system. Even for the quotation also, we don't need to delivery. So what if someone tried to do the delivery and if system allows it, it is a process mistake, right? Umera.
Yes, Venkat, it is.
So that means somewhere we need to stop the system. Somewhere we need to stop the system. We need to stop that process by using some control parameter. By using some parameter, we need to guide the system for we need to guide the system for which document it has to be. There should be delivery. For which document there should be delivery, or for which document there should not be delivery. Am I correct or not? So especially like inquiries or quotations, by using some element, we need to tell the system whether that particular document, whether this document is delivery or not, whether this document is like relevant for something else or not. So like this, there are some parameters. There are some parameters what we have to specify. Okay. So now I am coming to the point. Basically, the schedule lines. Okay, let me show you this. Let me show it and
Venkat, I have a question.
yes.
But by default, the system should not allow to create a delivery for inquiry and quotation, right? I mean, if it is not a valid one, then why should the system allow to create a delivery for inquiry and quotation?
No, system. That is what I'm telling. It is not the system allows. Generally, system that is what SAP decided. That I am going to explain. Okay. If I go to the schedules.
Okay.
So what is it? What is it? Schedule line category, right? Schedule line category. Am I correct, Vivek? This is schedule line category. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So it is there. 80 is the schedule line category for this inquiry, right?
Okay.
And let us see what it controls. We have 80 is a schedule line category for the inquiry. Let us see what it is controlling. Okay. So I'm going to configuration of the schedule line category, or the configuration controls of the schedule line category. So we can go using the T code VOV6, or we can go SPRO IMG sales and distribution. Where is it? Sales and distribution, sales documents, and schedule lines. If you go here, define schedule and category. Same. Vivo V6 is equal to same. Okay. Now 80, right? I'm opening the schedule and category 80. Okay. Okay. So what is this? Vivek, can you read it?
It's item relevance
For delivery.
F division for delivery. Okay.
Is it active or not? Now, like when I come here, I'm not saving anything. I'm opening. Is it active or not?
No, it's disabled. It's inactive.
So what does it mean? You already, because in order to make sure that business users are not doing the mistakes, you are trying to understand. In order to make sure that the business users are not doing any mistakes from the process wise, SAP designed all these things like item categories, schedule and categories, like some other control parameters. So the item category which is determining in the inquiry document, the item category which is determining in the documents, inquiry or the schedule and category, the schedule and category which is determining in the documents. What are the different documents? We have inquiries, we have quotations, we have sales orders. Okay, for all these documents, inquiry, quotation, order, for all these documents, the schedule and category is determined in the respective documents. So whatever the schedule line is determining in these documents, that will control. If, for example, now it is saying that item is not relevant for the delivery. So when you try to do the delivery for the inquiry, will the system allow? Vivek?
No.
Because the schedule and category you already controlled it. For example, if you say that item is relevant for the delivery here, then what happens? The schedule allows you to do the delivery, because the system itself, it doesn't know. You have to give the guidance by using some elements, like whether it could be document type, whether it could be item category, whether it could be the schedule category. So that is what we specified in the schedule and not only that. Okay, just one element. Okay, schedule and category. And one more thing, for the inquiry, whenever you create inquiry, I'm going back. Whenever you try to understand, okay, I'm trying to explain, by taking the real scenario from the inquiry and then configuration of the schedule and category, and the situation. So now I am creating an inquiry. I am creating an inquiry for customer. So now you tell me, when I am creating an inquiry, do you think the system has to check the availability of the goods for inquiry? In general, if the system is just
Yes.
in general, I mean, if the business user just checking whether you are selling this. No, in inquiry, what the business user will ask? The business user will ask, okay, it is not a guarantee document, right? It is just you go to the shop and you ask them, okay, what is whether this product is are you selling this product or not? Okay, are you selling this product or not, and what is the price, right? What is the price? And you can say that I need this much quantity. There are two different ways. It depends on the business situation. Umaira, you are correct. But in general, Umaira, we do not do because system will not check the availability check for the inquiries in general, because it is very, very beginning point. So that time itself, you don't need to give the button to the system to check, to perform the availability check activity, because it is not a confirmed document. What is the confirmed document? After inquiry, there is a quotation, right? After quotation, there is a sales order.
Sales order.
Only during the sales order time, unless and until the customer places the sales order, it doesn't make any sense to some companies to do the availability check. So that's why. So is the availability check is activated or not? It's not activated, right? So then what does it mean? So you are not doing availability check for the inquiries. So whenever you are creating inquiry, you are not, whenever you are creating inquiry, you are not performing. That means you are giving the system, you are giving the guidance to the system. Do not perform the availability check because it's inquiry. So that means whenever the schedule line category determined in the inquiry document, whenever this schedule line category determined in the inquiry document, what the system will do? System will not allow you to create the delivery, and also system will not perform any inquiry, and also this is to transfer the requirement transfer. This is called requirement transfer. Okay, this is called requirement transfer. That means transfer of requirements to the production. That means if you remember, and Vivek, if you have gone through the recordings, very beginning I told you SAP, the success behind SAP, or the most in other words, there are two key elements. There are two key elements which made SAP's success in the market. There are two key elements. What are those two key elements? Why SAP is so great? Why SAP is having 80% of ERP market? In ERP, SAP is the market leader with 80%. What could be the reason?
It has a tight integrity of communication between the systems.
Excellent.
That is one advantage.
Excellent. One is the integration, and the second one is the reporting. Okay, coming back to integration. So what is the integration? The integration means whenever I create a sales order, for the quantity of 100, that 100 quantity requirement has to be integrated with my production planning or materials management department to make sure the goods are ready by the time for the given customer delivery date, right? That we need to transfer. That means, what does it mean? There is a requirement of transferring the requirements. There is a requirement of transferring the requirements of your sales order to the, or transferring the requirements of sales documents to the production planning or the materials management. You agree with me? Hello?
Yes.
Yes, Venkat.
So this setting, this configuration control settings tells the system whether the requirements need to be transferred to the production planning or not. Okay, if you check mark it, what happens? System try to transfer the requirements. If you don't check mark, will the system try to transfer the requirements?
No.
No. Now you tell me for schedule and category 80, why it is not activated? Why we did not activate it? Because it is just inquiry, right? Because it is just inquiry, it does not make any sense to transfer the requirements. So if the customer is just inquiring about it, and you think he is going to place the order after inquiry? We don't know, right? If you just transfer the requirements based on the inquiry and made the goods, and you made the goods ready, and the customer is never come back, then what is going to happen? It's waste of production, right? Okay, so that is the reason you can also specify that no transfer of the requirements for this schedule and category, because it is being used for the item inquiries. It is being used for the inquiries. So like this, for example, if I go to something else, if I go to CP, okay, if I go to the CP, okay, so what is CP? If I go any sales order, sorry, sales order. Okay. So if you go to the sales order, you need to go to the schedule lines. Okay, these people are using CV. Let me see what is this. See, for the sales order, for the schedule line category in the sales order, if you can see what is activated. One thing, first of all, you instructed the system. This is relevant for the delivery. That means whenever the schedule line category is determined in the sales order, based on that, system understood that our system allows you to do the delivery. And then this is what the system will do. The system will transfer the requirements to the production planning, and then system will perform the availability. For the order, we need to perform the availability check, right? Whenever you create order, the system has to perform the availability check immediately, and it has to confirm the goods, whether the goods are ready by the customer requested delivery date or it will be in the future delivery date. That we have to specify, right? Okay. You see, so what the system is doing here, the system, like, the customer requested delivery date is, so for the given sales order, there is a quantity of 1. And what is the customer requested delivery date? The customer requested delivery date is 28/1/1997. But whereas the system confirmed the goods, system confirmed the quantity 1 on 29/01/1997. That means system was not having the stock to confirm for the 28th. Hence, it confirmed for the 29th. You see, the confirmed quantity is 0 for the customer delivery date. But whereas the system by taking into consideration of the manufacturing process and incoming goods and outgoing stuff and incoming stuff, by taking into consideration of all the factors, what happens? System confirmed the quantity 1 on the 29th. Okay. So why I was explaining this? Okay, availability check. Okay, by doing if you activate this, the system will understood that, oh, I need to perform the availability check for my sales order, like this. Okay, so these are the first 3 important elements which you need to understand. So when we talk about the schedule line categories, when you talk about the configuration of the schedule line categories, we need to understand the schedule line category controls. The schedule line category controls whether the item in the sales order or item in the document is relevant for the delivery or not. And then whether system will understand whether, based on the schedule line category, system will also understand whether I need to transfer the requirements to the production planning or the materials management or not. That also it will understand. And also, based on the schedule line category available in the document, system will also understand whether I need to transfer the requirements, like availability check, right? So whether the system will understand that whether I need to perform the availability check for this item in the sales order or not. So these are the very, very, very basic functionalities, basic controls what the schedule line category helps the system. So these are the 3 very, very important control settings or features which the schedule line category helps the system to take care of during the sales order. And apart from this, there are some other things. Okay, for example, something called incompletion procedure. So that means whenever you are creating a document, let us say it is actually a big topic and it is actually a separate topic, but at very high level, I'm going to explain just for 1 or 2 minutes. Whenever you are creating a sales order, there should be some important fields, right? There should be some mandatory fields. Am I correct?
Yes.
So in the sales order, there are many fields. In the sales order, there are many fields, right? There are many fields. Okay, if you can see requested delivery date, delivery block, total amount, okay, pricing date, like price, okay. There are many fields, but all the fields are not important, right? So did you enter the delivery block? Did you enter the delivery plan? Did you enter the description? No, right? Only few fields we maintained. Did you enter the partner description? Did you enter the version? No. So that means some fields are mandatory. That means some fields are required. Some fields are not required. Okay. So here what happens? Here what happens? SAP divided the sales document into 3 levels. SAP divided the sales document into 3 levels. Okay, what are the 3 levels? Sales document header level, sales document item level, sales document schedule line category level, schedule line level. Okay, so that is the reason. If you see here, if I go back, so in the sales document, what are the 3? Header, item, and schedule lines. In the similar way, if you go here, okay, header, what you can see? You can see header and you can see item. So header levels means whatever the data, whatever the fields, whatever the data or whatever the fields which are applicable for the complete document. So the fields are the data, the fields are the data elements which are available under header level. Header level, those data elements are applicable for all the items, for all the items in the document. But whereas if you go to the item, for example, so if you go to this item, this is one item, right? Item 10. If you go to this item, whatever the data, whatever the pricing, for example, whatever the pricing is applicable. So this pricing is only applicable for this item. Okay, and this quantity is only applicable for this item. So this tax is applicable for this item. So that way, so item level data is relevant for that particular item. Okay, the data which is available for the header level, that is applicable for the whole document. The data applicable for the header level of the sales document, that applicable to whole sales document. But whereas the data applicable for the item, individual item, that is applicable to individual item level. So the data of one item, the data of item 10 is not applicable to the item 10. For example, if you go to the item 10, okay. So what is the net value of the item 10? Net value of item 10, what? 880. Okay. But if I go to the item 20, okay, what is the net value of item 20? 3,360. And what is the quantity of 22? But whereas, what is the quantity of 10? Only 1. Okay, like this, the item data is applicable, is relevant for individual item. But whereas the header data, so header data means if I go to header, for example, first tab, okay. So the order type. So order type OR is for all the items, right? Do we have separate order type for the item 10, item 20, item 30? Hello? Vivek?
No, Venkat.
Okay. So the sales area is also same for all the items, right? Even if you have 10 items, you have the same sales area, right? You don't have the separate sales area for the individual item, right? Because the header data is applicable for all the items. Am I correct?
Right.
Okay. Even the created on. So you don't create one item one day, you don't create one item other day, right? So you create document at one time, that time itself is applicable for all the items. So if you go to the shipping in the header level, header data, okay, the unloading point. So unloading point is same for all the items. The unloading point is same for all the items, and the shipping conditions are same for all the items. So like this, whatever the data is available for the header data, header level of the document, header level of the sales order, the header data is same for all the items in the sales order. But whereas the item data is specific to the individual item. And in the item, if I go to the item, okay, if I go to the item, how I can go? I can go here, or I can go to the individual item. So within the item, we have the third level. Within the individual item, I have the third level, that is the schedule line. So the schedule line is having its own schedule line, is having its own fields. Schedule line level, it's having its own fields. Okay, like this, header level there are some fields, item level there are some fields, schedule line level there are some fields. Okay, now you can tell the system, what fields are required at the schedule line level, what fields are required for the item level, what fields are required for the sales document header level. Okay, for each and every level you can tell the system what fields are mandatory, what fields are optional for each and every level of the document, header level, item level, schedule level. So what you can do, you can tell for header level what fields are mandatory, what fields are optional, and item level for each item what fields are mandatory, what fields are optional. For schedule line level what fields are mandatory, what fields are optional. Okay, so you can tell. So where you can specify for schedule line and item and the sales document, for schedule sales document type, for the sales document type, for the sales document head like header level, if you want to specify what fields are important for the header level, you can go to Vivo V8. Okay, if we go to any sales document type header level, that is okay. What is this? You are specifying the incompletion procedure. That means in the background using some other configuration, you are defining a procedure. You are defining a procedure called incompletion procedure, and you are telling in the incomplete. It is a separate topic. Again, it is a separate topic. But since I am trying to make you understand, from the order type perspective, item category perspective, and scheduling category, I am explaining. Okay. You configure this in the background, you specify what fields are mandatory, and you assign to the sales document type. For what? To control the header level fields of the sales order. To control the header level fields of the sales order, which field is mandatory and which field is not mandatory, you configure the incompletion procedure, you assign it to the document type to control the header level of the sales document. And then for item category, for item level, okay, so what you do for item category, what is it? Incompletion procedure, right? So that means in the same way how you configure incompletion procedure for the documents, you in the background like SPRO level, you define one more incompletion process. You define incompletion process. You defined incompletion process 32, and there you specified which field is mandatory and which field is optional for item level of the sales order, and you assign it to the item category. In the similar way, schedule line category also, what happens? We have an option. We can tell. Okay. So what is the number assigned? What is the incompletion procedure for the schedule line category? 30. So you configure schedule line category 30, and in the 30 you tell the system, okay, this field is important, this field is not important. Okay. If you say some field is important, and if that field is not available here, if you say some field is important in the schedule line category incompletion process and that field is not available, then what is going to happen? What do you think? Will the system allow you to save the document? System will not
No.
allow you to save the document, because if any mandatory field is missing, header level or item level or schedule level, if any mandatory field is missing, whether it is the header level or item level or schedule and category level, whatever the level it is, system will not allow you to save the document. For example, okay, looks the billing is done. I may not able to show you. See, so what is happening if I'm trying to save without the payment terms? Is it allowing me to save the document?
No.
Is it header level field or item level field? Where is it? It's header level, right? For example,
It's item level.
item level. Huh? How do you know? So let me show you. Okay. So I'm getting into the change mode. So I'm going to the header. Okay, header sales. Okay, header sales. Okay, so where is it? The payment terms and encode terms.
Header level.
Header level. Okay, so if I take it and try to save it, will the system allows me? What the system is saying that document is incomplete. What is the incomplete? Okay, terms of payment. Okay, you did not enter the terms of payment. So that means whenever you miss any field according to the incompletion procedure, assign it to the document type or item category or schedule line, the system will stop you not saving. Okay, that's why that means that way you can help the system not missing any fields which are required in the future. Because without having the payment terms, it doesn't make any sense to create a sales order, right? You need to know, right, when the customer has to pay, make the payment to you. Am I correct? Okay, so that is the way. Like actually, it's we deviated, but it's okay. Okay, so this is what incompletion procedure. So everybody understood what is this incompletion procedure? So we specify whether this schedule and category is relevant for the delivery or not, whether system has to transfer the requirements to the PP and MM or not, whether the system has to perform the availability check or not, and also, for example, if you want to apply a delivery block, for example, for returns, so you are doing some return. So you remember, right? Every time you do the return, do you simply want to allow it? For example, if you go to the shop, whenever you are trying to return, the person who is there in the counter, is he able to do that, or what he sometimes what he does? He calls someone else, right?
Yes.
Or sometimes he may not call anyone. That means he may be authorized person. If the authorized person was already available in the counter, return counter, he doesn't need to call anyone because he can able to remove the block. That means what happens in SAP we have a provision. In SAP we have a provision to put the delivery block for the returns, because for returns you cannot simply you cannot give the permission to anyone to simply accept the goods. There should be some validation has to be taken care by the authorized person. So that is why you can put a delivery block. So that means you can specify whether the schedule, if it is a return schedule category, then what you can do. Let me go back.
Venkat, sorry to interrupt at this point, but there is a delivery block at sales document type level also, right? So
yes, we can do both levels. We can do the written sales document level, and also you can have if in case you miss there, it will help you. If in case you miss there, it will help you. Okay. So for returns, what you can use, okay, it is not that everyone use, but you can use for returns. Okay, what you can do, you can put a delivery block, because SAP has given the options, but wherever you want to use, you can use that. Okay, you can say the credit limit, or check free of charge delivery, or maybe you can say like political reasons. Generally, we don't use it here, and bottleneck material. So like this, you can put a like delivery block if you want, and also there is something what you can assign. It's called movement type. It's called movement type. So that means after sales order, what we do? We do the delivery, right? For example, if I go to any order, okay, let me go to the document flow. Okay. So what is the sales order? Delivery and picking. Sometimes it will be there, sometimes it doesn't require. But after delivery, what is there? Goods issue. So that means you are issuing the goods to the customer. Sales order, delivery, and then goods issue, and then invoice. This is what the typical SD process. Okay, order, outbound delivery, goods issue, like issuing the goods. That means when you create a delivery, it's not a real delivery. You create a reference document, but actual goods will be moving. The actual goods movement happens. Actual goods movement happens when you perform this goods issue activity. Okay, when you perform the goods issue activity, then only the goods will move from the warehouse. The goods will leave the warehouse. Okay, and this is the goods issue. You know one thing, in SAP, each and every goods movement. So here the goods, where the goods are going, in the SD side goods issue, in the SD side, when you give the goods to the customer, what happens? From where to where the goods, from where to where the goods are moving? From the warehouse to the customer location, right? The goods are moving outwards. Am I correct? In the goods
Yes,
issue, the goods are moving from the plant or warehouse to the customer location. That means outbound. Correct? Umaira. Correct, right?
Yes, Venkat.
And now, for example, if I do the goods receipt from the vendor, from the purchasing side, what we do? We create a purchase order and we receive the goods from the vendor to our plant, right? Goods receipt. Am I correct?
Yes, Venkat.
So that means there are different goods movements, right? Outward goods movements, inward goods movements. Sometimes within the plant, you have different locations. So you have location 1 and location 2. What you do, sometimes you move from one location to other location in the plant, right? Even within the house, you have your house, kitchen. Sometimes what you do, you move from one location to other location, right? Let us say your kitchen is a plant, and within the kitchen you move the goods from one location to other location, right? Hello?
Yes, Venkat.
Yes, Venkat.
So that means, what does it mean? The goods, there are many goods movement in the system. There are different goods movement in the system. So because of that reason, what SAP did, SAP given a movement type, SAP given a 3-digit movement type to specify whether it is a movement to the customer, from the plant to the customer, whether it is a movement from the vendor to the plant, like inside the plant, like this, to represent each and every movement. SAP given the movement type. For example, if I open this goods issue document, goods movement document, so what is the movement type? So whenever anybody sees, like if you are familiar with SAP, so whenever you see 601, what you understood? You can understand, okay, this is a outward goods movement, right? Hello? Hello?
Yes, Venkat.
Okay. If it is, for example, okay, if you go back to the schedule line, so it is having, what is this schedule line category? It is a return. So what is the movement type we are using for the returns? So that means if you see 651 in the document, what immediately comes to your mind? You can
Goods
think,
are returned.
this is a return goods movement, the goods written by the customer. Like that, there are many goods movement types. There are many goods movement types. For example, if you receive the goods from the vendor, that is represented by the 101. Okay, if you receive the goods from the vendor. For example, if you reverse the goods movement, for example, by mistake you receive the goods and immediately you realize that it's not a correct movement, you reverse it. Then with what movement type system record the transaction? 102. In the similar way, from SAP side, from SD side, okay, 601 is the movement type to represent goods issue for the delivery. So if we are doing goods issue for the delivery, outbound delivery, that is recorded with the movement type 601. For example, if you reverse the goods, you did the goods movement, the goods issue, but you realize that you did it the wrong date. You are supposed to do the goods really moved yesterday, but by mistake you moved today in the system. Okay, you need to reverse it, right? Because you cannot record it the wrong date. Am I correct?
Yes, Venkat.
So then when you do the reverse, what happens? What movement type will be recorded for that reverse movement? 602. So for the returns, 651. So like this, okay, there are different movement types available in the system which will help you to easily identify what kind of movement it happens in the given situation. Okay, so that movement type also you can specify in the schedule line category. So if you go to the normal one, if you go to the CP and CV, okay, you can see CP and CV, you can see the goods movement 601. Okay, so basically the schedule line category controls whether the item in the sales order is relevant for the delivery or not, is relevant for the requirement transfer to the other modules or other areas or not, other departments or not, whether the system has to perform the availability check or not, whether the delivery block is by default should be applicable for that item if the schedule and category is available, like this. And there are some other things, order type, item category and account assignment category. Now you will not able to understand, okay, because in order to make you understand, you need to understand there is a concept of third party order, TPO, third party order sales. So while discussing the third party order sales, then I will come back to the schedule and category and explain it. Okay, so other than this we don't need anything. Okay, now others you can ignore unless and until if there is a special requirement, and going forward what you can do if you want to know what is this. Okay, like you can just click it and click on F1, it will give some information. Okay, but right now you do not need, and even generally you don't require these things. Okay, you understood what schedule and category is controlling?
Yes, Venkat.
Yes, Venkat.
And there is one more thing, the dependent configuration. The next question, once you understand what is this schedule and category and what it is controlling, the next question is how it is coming, right? So you are not entering. If you go to the sales order, you are not entering, right? You are not entering. So let me finish this. So if I go to the schedule lines and go to the item, so item data, and if I go to schedule lines, so do I enter this schedule lines CV?
No.
I did not. It automatically determined, right? Like item category, it is also determining, right? Right, it is determining. So do you remember what parameters are determining the item category? Based on what parameters or what elements the item category is determined?
In sales document type and then the item category group.
Yes, very good.
And usage, and then the high level if it is a subcomponent.
Yes, very good. Higher level item category. So the item category determination in the sales order happens based on what is the document type used for the transaction, what is the item category group of the material, and then is there any usage, whether it is a text item, whether it is a free of charge item, whether you are using that item for the free of charge purpose or text purpose. If it is there, it will take into consideration of the usage, and also if it is a like configurable item, like bill of material item, subcomponents and components. If the system is determining the item category for the subcomponents, if the system is trying to determining the item category for the subcomponents, then it will look for the higher level item, main item category also. So that is how the system will determine item category in the sales order. Okay. In the similar way, the determination of the schedule line category in the sales order is based on two things. Okay, we'll go and see. Okay, you see what are the two things determining? Item based on the item category plus the MRP type. Okay, MRP type. So the schedule line category determination in the sales order. The schedule line category determination in the sales order happens based on what is the item category in the transaction, what is the item category in the transaction, and what is the MRP type of the material. What is the MRP type of the material? That means if I go back to the sales order, okay. So what is the item category for the sales order? TAN, right? TAN. So now let me go to TAN. Okay, TAN is the item category, and this is called MRP type. Okay, MRP type. Okay, MRP type, what it determines? So MRP type tells how the material is planned. So how the material has to be planned for the production. So for the given, the MRP type tells the MRP type guides the system. MRP types guides the system how the material has to be planned. So that means the material has to be planned based on the forecast data, like based on the last year sales or based on the last year production, or there are different parameters. Okay, where is that available? That is available in the material master. Okay, so what is the material master in this sales order? Okay, go to the sales order. So material is M-05. Okay, I'm going to MM03, that is display material. Okay, so what is the MRP type in the material master for this material? VM, right? VM. So VM. So if item category of the document is a TAN, and MRP type is the material in the sales order item MRP type. The material in the sales order MRP type is VM. What we are getting the system? What schedule line category has to be available in the sales order? CV, right? Is it coming correctly or not? So now you
Yes.
understood how the schedule line category is determining based on the item category of the transaction, item category of the sales order, plus the materials MRP type. The materials MRP type. So what is the material MRP type here? Automatic reorder point. There are some production related terminology. Okay, try to understand. MRP type indicates how the material has to be planned for the production. Whether it has to be planned based on last year data, whether it has to be planned based on the manual reorder point. You can specify what is the reorder quantity every time required for this material, or whether it has to be based on the material requirement planning. There is something called MRP, material requirement planning. Whether it is based on the material requirement planning. Like this, you can specify what kind of planning has to be done what kind of planning has to be taken care for this material. That we specify using the MRP type. That we can specify using the MRP type. You can see here. Okay. Okay. MRP type determines whether and how the material is planned. For example, as I mentioned, okay, whether it is forecast based or whether it is based on the MRP, like using the MRP technique, MRP methodology in the production planning side, or whether it is a manual reorder point. So if you specify any reorder point in the material master, whether the system has to plan the material based on the reorder point set up by the people, individual person, or if you want to plan this material, based on the system put the automatic reorder point. So based on the past history, the system can put the automatic reorder point. So that that is specified in the MRP type. So you don't need that much detail as an SAP SD consultant, but what you need to understand, the schedule line category determines in the sales order based on what is the item category of the sales order and what is the MRP type of the material. Based on those two, okay, the system, you can tell what schedule line category you need. And once it comes, based on the previous configuration control settings, that controls the sales order. Like whether the item is relevant for the delivery or not. Okay, whether item should be whether that schedule line category is relevant for the availability check or not, or whether the requirements has to be transferred to the production or not. We'll check. Even MRP type we will discuss later when we talk about. At this moment, like if I start explaining, it is too depth for you. But when we start discussing availability check and the transfer of requirement functionality, there are two functionalities: availability check and the transfer requirements. During the time while discussing those two areas, I will explain what is MRP type, what is MRP group. Okay, we'll have detailed discussion. Then you are little mature to understand those concepts. We'll discuss that time. Okay, thank you. See you tomorrow, same time. Take care. And I already shared the recordings of the last week, yesterday. Sorry for the delay, but from now onwards, I will try to share, right away. Okay. Probably by end of the today, I will try to share this week recordings, the today recording and tomorrow recording by tomorrow evening. Okay.
Venkat, will you be sharing those system
Yes.
details like login?
Let me send it. Actually, it is not just sharing. You need some help also. Okay, Vivek, right? Vivek Tamilarasu and Afzal, right? Afzal Umera.
Yes, sir.
Nandini. Okay. And I think Vijay I already sent, right? I think I already sent Vijay. Okay. I think we have 5 IDs, and then I will talk to the other team members based on that. I will. Okay. So I'm giving the names. Okay. First one, Umaira. And second one, and Vivek. Okay. And the fourth one is for you, Vivek. Okay. And the fifth one, I will see that, I will other team members, I will take out this. Okay. So this is, first of all, you need to let me send it. I think my battery is down. Anytime it will go. Okay. So here, if you come down, okay. So this is to install the GUI. First of all, you need to install this pad, logon pad. You need to install this logon pad. In order to install it, in order to see that logon pad in our laptop, you need to use this one, SAP GUI 740. Download it and install it. First download this to your laptop and then install on your laptop. Once installation is completed, you see this logon pad. Then you create the system the way how I created few minutes back. Okay. Thank you. See you tomorrow same time.
Thank you, Venkat.
Thank you.